Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. Yeah. I hope you're enjoying your day at the KCD today. I have a lot of fun also for me. Today we'll talk about security in Kubernetes. But before that, social network, I need to take a picture.
Nobody did it before, so we will
come on.
We will dare, yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
Did you finish that?
Yeah, that's done.
No. Thanks to the AI, I was
Looks
able
like us,
to
right? Yeah.
to do a picture of us. Maybe guys from the far away from the stage cannot see us. It's us, almost. We are consultant. So there's Benoit Entzmann and me, Chay. It's not a joke. He's specialized in Azure area. And for myself, I'm doing stuff in platform engineering with Ansible and all automation you can find around Kubernetes. Here is the agenda for today. I will talk about generic security. We have 25 minutes, cool. We will see some real use case, so we'll have fun with that. And we will go further with more topic about security and best practice. Sorry, it's a bit basic, but we have to talk about that. We'll talk about the forces in Kubernetes, some modern threats we can find today. We'll talk about also airbag, and we'll see some things about runtime. We saw some talk just before about runtime, but it's new things. Benoit, it's your turn.
My turn. All right. So who knows about the 4 layers, the 4C in cloud native security? Okay. Some experts are with us then. So that's just a bit of theory. That's the security model we use for Kubernetes in general to protect the cluster. There is 4 layers you want to use from the external to the internal to make it difficult for the bad guy to reach your cluster. So let's first have a look at some layers. So the first layers is the cloud provider. So that's everything about the network access to the API server. So you try to avoid any unauthorized access to the API server or to the nodes. That's the first external layer. That's the first. Oh, that's the on-call. Excuse me, sorry.
Sorry for the interruption. It was not expected. It's not serious. Sometimes consultants are doing on-call. Okay, so I have to continue. Sorry for that. Yeah.
Okay. So sorry, it seems a bit serious. Maybe we'll have to do something. So I just got a call from the gold customer we've got, okay. And he has a cluster, a Kubernetes cluster, RKE2, with some nodes in EC2 nodes in AWS, and we are taking care of this cluster. We have installed some security tools. We've installed some monitoring tools.
It's the new customer we just...
It's the new customer we have just, okay. Yeah. But it seems that he has a privilege escalation or something. So maybe we may need to have a look.
You know what? We have an expert in...
Yes, I've seen some people already know the 4C, so let's forget about that. And
maybe we can ask them?
Yeah, maybe we can ask, yeah.
Yeah?
And
how can we do?
Actually, I would prefer to use a very secure way to do it. And we will ask you some questions, but the best way to not be hacked is to raise your hand, so no QR code. And I guess we can have a look at the proposal we have. So you are in this situation. What would you do if you get this kind of call? So would you like to take the day off? Who would like to take the day off?
I want to take my day off.
Okay. We have some professional in this case. Yeah, of course.
So let's choose take the day off.
So yeah, just for fun.
No, we cannot do that.
Of course, you don't do that. You have a good contract normally, bring you some money, so you try to do something. So maybe would you like to silence the alarm just to be quiet for 2 days, and maybe the next one, who would like to do that?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so some people are very used to that. So if there is an alarm, just silence it, and that's it.
Let me just silence the alarm.
So of course that could be a good thing if you already know the alarm and is coming again and again. That's usually what you do with your monitoring system. So we are talking about Prometheus and Grafana here. Yeah.
Did someone complain?
So the customer didn't complain. No, it's just an alert that came up into the system. So it doesn't seem that it's something that's visible for the end customer.
So we can try this one, maybe?
So maybe we would just ask if there is some customer complaint about the issue.
No.
Yeah, a few of them. Yeah, usually it's not good to ask. So yeah, of course, that would be a good thing to maybe know if there is some impact to the end customer. But if it's a security issue, maybe it will be not visible to the end customer. So
okay, let's try to investigate.
So try to investigate. So of course, who would like to investigate in Grafana? Yeah, most of you.
I said there's expert.
Expert, yes. So of course that's the first thing to go. So let's do it together. We'll connect to the system. So I have Grafana to these customers, the monitoring.
It's not showing.
Yes, I see that already. It's the Victor effect. It doesn't work.
Oh, great.
Right. Okay. So you connect to the customer to his Grafana monitoring tools. So of course you don't use the default password, and you just have a look at the alerting rules.
We've set this alert.
So we set an alert by using Tetragon. So we use Tetragon in this cluster. It's an open source eBPF tools that help you for security to monitor everything that's going on between the user space and the kernel. And we see there is an alarm firing. So we can just click it and see if there is more information. So yes, there is a chroot process running on. You get the name of the pod. It's a controller manager, and
which namespace?
It's the namespace kube system. Okay, so well, maybe we have to check that. Maybe we can try to see when
does it
started.
trigger?
Yeah. So
can we check in Prometheus?
We can check in Prometheus. So we just look at the query. So you also have a Prometheus around here.
In graph mode.
And the graph. And you see, so it's in a UTC. Actually, it was just before the presentation. It's a really bad luck for us. It started just before. Okay. So here we have collected some information. We can also connect to the cluster directly. And I've been disconnected. All right. Okay, so let's connect and type some commands. So we have prepared everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the Victor effect. Huh? Yes, I was too. Okay.
It's lag. Huh?
There's some lag here.
again. Okay.
Okay, so let's check the pod in the kube system. That's the information we've got from Grafana. So we see that's the pod in the kube system. The controller manager, so there is this pod. The name is a bit strange because usually in RK2 and especially in AWS, this one would be more normal, so that's something suspicious. So that's something that one clue that can be taken into consideration. Let's get some metrics about the CH root. We have seen this process is running. So Tetragon say has detected it. So we see the name of the pod. So okay, that's also some information. So okay, so we have collected some information. Now, what could we do to remediate?
I think we can ask the audience. What do you think of that?
Yeah, if you wanted to get an app, it's not the good session we are going to be active in this session.
What can we do with this suspicious pod? Who is for installing Norton? It's the answer for all. Good. Can we try?
No, that's not the good one.
No. My security expert said it's always the answer.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have to fire him. Okay. Could we delete the pod? Who want to delete the pod? No one.
No one, okay. So let's keep that.
Who want to taint our nodes so that it cannot be scheduled? No one. There's a lot of experts here.
A lot of experts, huh? All right.
Okay. So who want to investigate the audit logs? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
That's the majority.
They all know the best practice. So, as you know, audit logs are not by default. You have to activate it and define what you want to audit. It's very important to activate them so that you know what's happening in your cluster. It looks like also that our account has been compromised because a pod has been scheduled.
Yes.
So we have to check if it's
we can check it,
true.
Yeah?
Yes. Okay, so this is the query so that we can check the audit logs and see what's happening in our cluster. We can see here, it's a bit...
Maybe you can get another command with more summarized information.
Yeah.
Just to filter on what...
Yeah, more precise. Yeah, voilà. In the audit logs, you can see here, our account has been compromised. It's the main user, so we may have to change the tokens so that he cannot do something nasty again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And can you go back to the presentation? The third point is to mitigate the privilege escalation. It will be good to install a tool. I think the good tool will be Kyverno. So can we try to install it?
We'll try to do a demo. As it didn't work before, we'll see if it can show something. That's the key.
Okay.
So
let's check.
It installed on the cluster.
We have Kyverno, right?
Yeah.
So we can install a policy so that we can avoid privilege escalation in our cluster.
Yeah, so we've prepared a policy to disallow the privilege escalation.
Perfect. Okay, it has been created.
Created, yeah.
Now, can we try to schedule a pod?
Just to check it's
just
working.
to check if the policy is working.
Okay, so let's just run an Nginx.
Yeah, a basic Nginx. And we can see here Yeah.
So it protected, it didn't allow to create.
You know, because by default, when you schedule a pod, your pod can be escalated. You have to define the fact that you cannot do it. So here he saw that by default it's set like this, and our policy is working, so everything's perfect. I think I can discuss with the customer and we can continue the presentation.
Continue the presentation, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Let's jump here. And congratulations, you had the good
Answer.
good
Thanks.
answer. Yeah.
Can you just mute your phone?
Oh yes. Sorry, I will not be disturbed again.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just you just got an illustration about these 4 C's. So what could we say about the privilege escalation? Somebody got through the cloud, if it was the cloud in our case. Then he goes into the cluster. He got some token, or he got the account, the system account administrator in our case compromised, and then he was able to schedule some container with some root privilege access, and then he was able to do anything he wanted into our cluster. So he goes through all the layers, and that's one of the example we could give to how you would protect your Kubernetes cluster. Try to protect at several layers to be secure in your cluster. And the last one is the code itself. When you have the application, you try to use TLS, like it was said in other talk previously. You do some code analysis, data encryption, and everything. It's so another privilege escalation is on the etcd controller pod namespace default.
How can that happen again?
Kyverno is
Sorry.
so what?
Let me just close this notification.
Yeah. We cannot put a silent on that. So can we?
We still have experts.
Yeah, they are with us. So if you could help us to save this customer, yeah.
So
what hackers are magicians because we install Kyverno and we can fight them. Do you think it's the case? Hackers are magicians? No. Okay, so you are too good technically.
No, maybe they are magicians. Let me check.
You want to check? Okay. So of course they are not magicians. There are some reason why it's working or not. So maybe Kyverno doesn't work. Who thinks we didn't implement properly the policy? Something things could be a reason. You trust me? Okay. They trust us. We put the good policy. So
yeah, we tried this before.
So yes, and we tried it. So okay. So
maybe etcd controller we saw is a legit pod.
Yes.
No?
And we add an exception to the Kyverno. Who thinks it's a legit pod, etcd controller, just like this?
No, it was written escalation privilege.
Yeah, that was silly.
No.
So, okay. So maybe the etcd has been compromised, and that's the only reason. So it would be the A, right?
So we deployed Kyverno, we saw just before. Privilege escalation cannot happen again. What's the only possibility it can happen again? Do you know? Someone write directly in the etcd. And this is the issue.
Yeah.
So you recognize it's us doing kubectl to communicate with the cluster. And we go through authentication, authorization, so that we can schedule a pod. So it's the classic way to use Kubernetes. Now, how can someone do something nasty directly in the etcd? This guy. Do you know how we can do that?
No, I don't know. You know?
Yeah, it seems he's using the certificate from the etcd. So he's able to use the etcd without going through the API server. And this is not a good thing. So let's ask the audience, right? What to do with the certificates? Maybe we can delete them. Who want to delete the certificates that's causing this issue? No, they're all administrators.
Yeah,
They know what happened
very strong.
when you do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can rename the certificates. No, no one wants. Okay. Who wants to activate encryption at rest?
It's a good one. Yeah.
No one activates this. Yes, good. But can you try?
Yes, you can try. There is one.
It's a best practice, yes.
It's a good practice, yeah.
You have to activate this option because your secret will be secured, almost, in the etcd if someone stole your etcd. But for our case, it's not what we expect. So can we try CIS benchmark? This is a good thing to do. You have to run your CIS benchmark in your cluster so that your cluster will be secured. It depends your version, but it's a good practice to run it in your cluster. It will reduce the attack surface in your cluster. It's a large security things to do.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do that?
So we'll do that? Yeah. You want to...
Yeah, can you click on it? Sorry, yeah. We have this on the CIS benchmark, and it mentions what to do. So it seems our certificate have wrong permission. Can we check that?
We check that directly on the system. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you guys like 777? Me not. Yeah.
So yeah, also the fact is if you get some events with this kind of attack, you can check some events. There is nothing. You can see nothing in the events. If you check Tetragon, then you can use also Tetragon to monitor what's going on into this container. If something is going on, you can put some filter. So I'm running it, and I can monitor what's going on. So for example, I see the command ID is being typed, and also some cat on the etcd password.
Who's doing that?
I'm wondering, yes. So you can use Tetragon for that as well to monitor what's going on into a container. So now let's try to check this permission, maybe. First, check the etcd itself, just to check what is the name of the certificate.
So we can see here certificates which are used. If you are familiar with this, we can see it's in Varley, Brancher, RK2, server TLS. Yeah. Can we go further and check in the directory?
So here you have the permission on the certificates. Yeah.
It's the issue. So we have to fix that and call back the customer.
Customer, yes. And block that attack, yes.
Thanks for your help, guys.
You rock.
So let's talk about more security. So I will talk about some best practice you have to do in your cluster Kubernetes. And then we'll see some modern threats with...
Some kind of conclusion, yes. Yeah.
And we will finish with something you have to know about how to secure your cluster. Does it look like your Kubernetes cluster in production? It means you built it, you put it in a bottle, and then that's it. No. No, it's not a good practice. What you have to do with your cluster, and more generally, your productive cluster, you have to secure it daily. This is important to do it from day 0 to day 2. You also have to put your components up to date. It's not always the case you can do it, but most of the time you have to do it and keep it up to date. Also, what's important for your infrastructure, you have to put monitoring, observability in the best case. But if you don't have monitoring, then you are totally blind on what's happening on your cluster. You have to secure also all your communication inside your cluster and outside your cluster. With HTTP, we talk about MTLS, things very classic, we can say. And also the RBAC is important to not use the admin account. Who is using admin account in production? Don't be shy, I know it. I do that. Okay. And also, please, etcd is not secure. So use something to store your secret and also your certificate and token, like HashiCorp Vault, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
Okay, and just a few words to finish. Maybe you know the Meter Attack organization. It's a non-profit organization, and they just collect all the information about the known attacks they know in the wild. And there is something very interesting. They know they have a category for containers. So if you try to protect some Kubernetes cluster, that's probably the best place to start with and be familiar with everything is here. It's a very interesting to know. And finally, this is the surface of attack of your Kubernetes cluster. So you have your component as raw, and you have all the possible vulnerability you have for each component. So we call a vulnerability a CVE, Common Vulnerability and Exposure. And each vulnerability has a score. It's called the Common Vulnerability Scoring System. With 10 being a bad day, because if you have a 10, means it's very easy to use and it has a very high impact in your system. And you can see that's everything you have to try to protect in your cluster.
And Benoit, what about the known?
So there are some white square here. So that's what you don't know. That means it's not known any vulnerability for this component, but maybe it's something that is exploited. It's where you will apply a zero trust strategy with some tools like Neuvector or others from SUSE. But that's something you have to take care even with the rest, because that's important to also take into account.
Okay, so we are now ready for the questions.
Still a few seconds for the questions.
Yeah.
Try to. So if you have some questions.
If you have some question.
Round of applause first. Thank you very much.
Thanks. If I'm not mistaken, the allow privilege escalation flag that you show isn't like it's just protecting if you are running as non-root in the container. You cannot use a vulnerability to escalate in the container. Unless I'm mistaken, it doesn't help escape any container. And the question is, if you compromise an admin token and you are installing Kyverno to protect against that, if I'm admin, I can just disable Kyverno, right? So
You remember the forces. It's not with Kyverno you will avoid this kind of threat. You have to secure in a higher level.
Yes. But if you have admin access, of course, you can deactivate Kyverno, yes. That's
okay, and when you think of the allow privilege escalation flag, like, is it really something that allows you, that is risky? Or is it just something that's a bit too much popular in comparison to the risk?
no privilege.
I'm not sure to understand your question.
You were showing in the demo the allow privilege
okay, yes.
escalation flag. It seems like it's something that is misunderstood a lot and that feels very dangerous, but actually has no like real-world impact. What do you think?
I think
You configured that.
so yes. So if you the allow privilege escalation is something you have to monitor. If I get you, but of course that's something I would put some metrics and some alert into Grafana like we did for this example. I would monitor that, and especially the CH root, which is a common way to escalate the privilege from inside the container when you have the privilege right inside the container. Yes, if that answers your question. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're already almost out of time, so a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you.